Tamriel is in turmoil. As the continent is engulfed by the events of the Plane Melt and the Three Banners War, a mysterious figure has decided she knows the true solution to the chaos. To impose her will, she would fundamentally alter the nature of reality, severing the natural world from the realms of magic, heedless of the consequences. Under the cover of Tamriel's warring factions, she has been able to accomplish her objectives behind closed doors. But a plot so wide-reaching can only remain a secret for so long. A daring group of adventurers has learned of her machinations and is working to defeat her before it's too late. Their work is cut out for them. This shadowy sorcerer will stop at nothing to perpetrate the betrayal of the Second Era. Good morning and welcome home, brave heroes. I'm Ash, this is Ash Quest, and today I wanted to draw attention to The Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era, which is a strategy game of combat and character building for 1 to 4 players from Chip Theory Games, set in the world of Nirn. In campaign-based play, players will develop their characters and adventure through the provinces of Tamriel, completing quests and revealing new mysteries as they seek to uncover the plot of a hidden antagonist. Betrayal of the Second Era is a perfect marriage of the values of Chip Theory and the Elder Scrolls franchise, featuring the commitment to world building and character customization that fans love about the Elder Scrolls and the component quality and deep strategic thinking Chip Theory is known for. Betrayal of the Second Era is an exciting new foray into the lands of Tamriel. So this is a project that is currently on GameFound. It was funded and the pledge manager is open, which means you can essentially go and pre-order your copy of this with any of the add-ons that are available right now. The pledge manager will be open until the very end of December and then it will close. All of the stretch goals were unlocked. So if you check out the page linked in the description below, you can see what all this comes with. A picture is worth 1,000 words and a video is worth 1,000 pictures. You can also watch the video at the top of the page that will give you an idea of the sort of lore and presentation behind the game. It does a really good job of setting the tone and giving you the story with some really talented voiceover work from the sorceress. And it even shows you some animations of the components that will be used in the game. But to get the real information, we need to dig deep into the static imagery and text down below and see what's included with this game. Now, I think that this is going to be a good representation of the Elder Scrolls world, although it doesn't seem to be based on any particular one game, because the Elder Scrolls, as you probably know, is a video game franchise from Bethesda and ZeniMax, at least the Elder Scrolls Online, and that's the one that I do have experience with. I've played maybe 40 minutes of Skyrim for the Nintendo Switch, just long enough to get my Zelda clothes rewards from the Amiibo, and that was pretty much it. I put it on the back burner in favor of the Elder Scrolls Online, which I've played quite a bit, but very, very casually, since I just love to walk around, craft, and collect outfits. But this actually does seem like a really great representation of what makes the Elder Scrolls great. There's a lot of story, a lot of lore, there are delves, and there is really deep character customization. So without further ado, let's scroll down and let me give you the most important information I can right from the get-go, the languages in which this will be available. We've got 12 of them: English, German, Hungarian, Spanish, Polish, Portuguese, Italian, French, Czech, Korean, simplified Chinese, and traditional Chinese. That is an incredible feat to have it available in that many languages. We've got some pictures here as well, but I just wanted to point this out. This is extremely important to me. Free shipping with every pledge, customs friendly to these 5 territories at the very least. If you're not listed here, this might be worth some research, but this means very, very good things to our friends in the EU and to Australia. Customs friendly should be a wonderful thing. And this right here should be a goal that every board game creator should strive for. We have 2 hours of playtime plus 30 minutes per player. That makes me wonder if it's 2.5 hours for one player. This game can be soloed. It's for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up being the suggested age range. That's pretty close to the Elder Scrolls in general, although I think the Elder Scrolls Online is rated higher. It doesn't have any elements in it that are unsuitable for 14, although its rating does give it license for that. That may be subject to interpretation. Let's check out some of the images here, and these are kind of shown in animatics in the video. We have hex grids rather than square-based tiles, and these are actually not single hexes. They are groups of hexes, and they're actually made of neoprene. That's impossible to tell from the picture here, but these are neoprene hex mats that are laid down in specific configurations according to different cards that you draw that tell you what's next on your adventure. You'll have access to all of the different races in the Elder Scrolls. This comes with, I believe, 10 of them, and it looks like we have male and female presenting versions of each, so you'll have 20 different characters to start from just for your base, and then you'll have all of the classes that are available to all of these characters, and we'll delve deeper into that, no pun intended. But here's a look at the very unique character boards and some of the many dice that are included with this game system. All right, so what's in the box? All components, artwork, and design not final. That same disclaimer is in the video, so it's worth noting. But I'm pretty sure that we're probably past the point where this stuff has been decided on and finalized. This is probably pretty close to what the final product will look like. Still though, minor details may have been changed. There are 10 double-sided chips representing quest units. Are they friend or foe? The answer may change depending on your quest. I love that. That is already an awesome mechanic, full of potential, very interesting to me. We have fatigue and over fatigue. 38 dice representing this. I don't think these are to be rolled. I think these are just to be slotted only because they don't have any faces. They just have very blank all over, different colors. Slot fatigue into your cooldown for extra actions, but be careful it doesn't come back to bite. We have 10 cards representing class sheets. Select the specialized class abilities best suited to your build. And you can see here examples, the Templar, Dragon Knight, each one has 5 abilities on it with costs associated with each. We have 108 skill and attack dice. Roll your skills in battle to defeat your enemies. Now, I don't know how many of each kind we're going to get or what kind of configurations we're going to get. And I say we because I'm very interested in acquiring this game. This is the last game that I wanted to make sure I got in on for the year. As far as upcoming games, I think I've pretty much pledged my pledge and allegiance to every game so far that I've really wanted this year. This is the last one, I think, on my list. But we'll be getting 108 dice that represent skill and attack. 2 chips and 1 die representing counters, so you can track the days of your journey, party XP, and battle round. 4 acrylic mini chips representing overland mini chips. These are going to go onto the overland map, and you can track your party's movement and see what your enemy is up to on the map. 4 edge-stitched character mats so that you can manage your character's skills and stats. We see all of these square slots for the dice to go into. We see circular slots as well as a couple of really small peg slots, and we'll see what goes into there here really soon. We see 20 double-sided race chips, so you can pick your favorite denizen of Tamriel. 20 double-sided, that's the 10 different races, male and female presenting, so 20 unique characters to pick from. Then the 20 double-sided cards representing the race sheets, and each race may have subtle differences with the stats that they start with, but keeping in mind the race and the class of a character are 2 different things, and so the way that they interact and overlay with one another during the development of your character is going to lead to 2 people who might play the same race could play very different classes, or 2 different races that play the same class could also play very differently. There are 6 double-sided chips representing chests and relics, 3 for chest, 3 for relic. There are 54 delve cards. These cards power Betrayal of the Second Era's unique delve system. This is extremely interesting to me. This is a really cool way to do this. It looks like each card is going to tell you what hex mat to pull up and place on the board when you're ready to do whatever the exploration phase portion of this game would be called, and then it's going to give you the unique stats for what's in that hex grid. If you scroll back up and you look at the map in progress here, we can see 1, perhaps 2, 3, 4, 5, I think, different hex mats, or perhaps only 3, because I see the delve cards have been set down next to each group of hex mats. Really cool way of doing that. The first player marker, 1 chip. This goes to the player with the highest stamina. Overland encounters consists of 85 cards. Every adventure will be different with province-specific cards and general encounter mix-ins. The actual delve mats are neoprene. Again, impossible to tell from the images, but there are 10 of them. There are 3 hex mats, 3 6 hex mats, 3 7 hex mats, and 1 19 hex mat that connect in unique configurations as you explore deeper. And we see that there are icons on each of the hexes themselves. Here is the entrance mat. It is one neoprene mat that marks the entrance of each delve. Here is a clash mat, a large neoprene mat, an open field of combat where the majority of your battles will take place. There are 36 acrylic mini chips representing skill and stats, and these are the things that'll go in, slotted into your character sheets. Circular slots, 48 acrylic tokens, and 17 pegs representing stat tokens. The pegs here, which look like swords yet to be drawn, are the actual pegs that go into those smaller holes on your character board. I thought that was really creative, a really nice touch. And as is classic to the Elder Scrolls, we've got blue for magicka, green for stamina, red for health. Tenacity and XP would probably be tracked by these pegs. 15 side quest cards. Take on an extra mission for an extra reward. I'm surprised that there are only 15 when side quests is pretty much the bread and butter of the Elder Scrolls after all the customization. 1d6 die at this point, who needs that? That looks so boring compared to all the other awesome dice we're getting. 35 item cards and 15 relic cards make up your equipment. Equip yourself with the best gear for the job. 3 dice for lockpicking. Roll these dice in a unique lockpicking mechanic. I can't wait to see how that works. 40 double-sided chips representing the enemies, and that's really cool. We can see our flame atronach here, our spider, skeleton, skeleton mage, scamps, storm atronachs, bears, skeevers, titans, and so on. Region maps. 3 double-sided PVC maps traverse each base game province of Betrayal of the Second Era, each with its own familiar landmarks and unique mechanics. Now, I'm not sure yet from the picture, but it looks like these are going to basically represent the regions that we already know of in the world of Tamriel. So we might have one that represents Skyrim, we might have one that represents Morrowind, Cyrodiil, elsewhere, it just goes on and on. But that'd be a really clever way to do it. So we'd have 6 regions with the base game. And yes, as you've probably figured out by now, there are expansions, and yes, they are available to add to your pledge should you choose to essentially pre-order this game. We have 20 cards for skill references, keep track of what all your skills actually do. And these are really close to the skills that you're constantly leveling up whenever you play any of the Elder Scrolls game. One hand and shield, destruction staff, bow. You could be running along, fire your bow at an enemy, and suddenly have gained enough experience to level up your bow skill. 65 light chips for health, a sheet for enemy skill reference. I'm glad that they kept this nice and small and concise. This is, again, what any dungeon crawling type of game should strive for. If you have a lot of keywords, get them all in one place, define them, and be done with it. 130-sheet notepad for the character record. Oh, I love that. Province Gazetteers. There are 5 booklets. These guidebooks hold the keys to your adventure, so it looks like campaign books, basically. 6 guild selection cards. Use these cards to pick your quest. Guild selection. So we've got the symbols on the backs of the cards that tell you what kind of guilds will be in this game. I can already tell you the Thieves Guild or the Assassins Guild, probably what I'm going for immediately. 2 draw bags to store and draw level 1 through 5 and level 10 through 20 enemies for combat. Loving that, and it kind of seems implied that this game's going to follow the system where the enemies sort of level with you. Either that or they're kind of agnostic to your level until you reach a certain tier, and then you'll draw enemies for that level that you are now in, that range of levels. And then you get the how to play and rulebooks. There's more than that. We get large and mini chip trays, which is super awesome. I'm so glad that they are including storage and being cognizant about how we might like to present our storage options. Dice trays and save solutions. There are 8 trays for that. Keep your character's progress intact between play sessions. Since there are 8 trays, if you play solo, you could essentially create 8 different characters and have 8 different adventures going on. I don't recommend doing that, but you can. Plus all the unlocked stretch goals. That took a long time to get through. You can read for yourself all of the contents, the summary of contents with the stretch goals applied. And then we have a picture kind of summarizing all the stuff that will come with this game. It is undoubtedly going to be quite the heavy box, although it doesn't look like it's going to be quite as heavy or as big as OrcQuest, which is probably a good thing, to be honest. The stretch goal summary, this is important, comes with 15 chips, 30 enemies total, 39 cards, including side quests, items and relics, delve and overland encounters, 5 classes, the bard, the knight, the rogue, the pilgrim, and the spellsword. Hey, those aren't in the Elder Scrolls Online. Perhaps these are callbacks to previous Elder Scrolls games, which of course makes sense because, again, this game's not based on the Elder Scrolls Online. It's based on the Elder Scrolls as a whole franchise. 3 guilds: Eyes of the Queen, Circle of Champions, and Outer Watch. 15 plus quest lines added to the Gazetteer booklets, and 13 component and box upgrades. That is cool. I like seeing this. This is attention to detail here. Base box thickness increased. That right there. You don't see this sort of thing very often. This is really paying attention to the practicality of having to pull the game out, put all the stuff back in, store it. This is necessary. Round counter die upgrade, fatigue dice upgrade, box spot varnish, second set of character art for each race. That's amazing. Marbled first player chip, magnetic counter added, D6 upgrade, save trays upgrade, spiral bound gazetteers, guild mini guides, and stat token removable storage added, alloy die in the blacksmith pack. The blacksmith pack is a separate thing. It comes with the all-in, and I believe you can add it as a separate part of your pledge. 5 Valenwood unlocks, 4 enemies, a neoprene clash mat, which is double-sided, a ranger class, and a light armor skill line. And the Thieves Trove add-on, which is 100 cards. Also added during campaign, 1 extra enemy skill reference, and a clash mat, now double-sided with new region artwork. Very kind of them to add the extra skill reference. Very, very kind. Okay, gameplay. Race. Pick a race. Welcome to Tamriel. Are you ready to begin? We have all kinds of races. It looks like they're going to go through all of them here, and that's a great, great thing. It saves us some time having to go reference them elsewhere. They have Argonians, which are essentially your lizard people. High Elves, your snooty boys. Dark Elves, the Wood Elves. Then we have Orcs, and we have Khajiit, the cat people. They have wares if you have coin. They have Imperials, as well as Breton, and they have Redguard and Nord. They chose a rather shrimpy picture for the Nord, I have to say. The Nord are objectively taller and just bigger units than most of the other races. So this one, which is even wearing imposing armor, is slightly shorter than the Redguard. That's fine though. Then you can choose your region. With your character in hand, you're ready to choose your region. Pick from one of the 5 provinces of Tamriel featured in the Betrayal of the Second Era core box. A session of Betrayal of the Second Era takes place over the course of up to 12 days. Each day, you will be traveling the province map and engaging in encounters. Encounters can take many different forms. You may spend the day in a town, negotiating with the smugglers of Alton Cormont, delving underground in a search, or drawing an overland encounter card as you travel the countryside. And there is the Black Marsh, High Rock, Morrowind, Skyrim, of course, and Cyrodiil. They go ahead and give you the different endgame scenarios for each of these regions, which is really interesting to me. This is a campaign-based game, but once the campaign ends, you're ready to begin a new campaign all over again. And I'm not sure if there are any carryovers of your previous campaign, if your character can continue to advance or bring along a bunch of new level 1 type characters with them. I'm not sure how that mechanic works just yet, but we do have a couple of different endgames. So just for example, I'll read the Black Marsh. In Betrayal of the Second Era, your party's movement is limited by the dense terrain, and you may be forced to confront roaming bands of cultists seeking to learn the secrets of the land's mysterious hist trees. The endgame, in Black Marsh, Deslandra, the sorceress, and her minions are seeking to initiate a world-shaking ritual using magically altered hist sap. Players will chase her through an expanding delve, seeking to halt her incantation before it can reach fruition. Deslandra will initiate a new portion of the ritual each time a sky shard is revealed, making each endgame run variable. Again, really, really cool how that plays out and makes no 2 games alike. This very informative page goes on to explain guilds. It's time to select one of 3 randomly drawn guilds. Taken together, the guild and province you select will determine which quest you'll be completing in your first play session. Each guild will have a unique quest in every province, including subsequent province expansions, allowing for tons of replayability across multiple campaigns. The Fighters Guild, the Mages Guild, the Thieves Guild, and then there are more than 3, of course. So the Dark Brotherhood, the Sigic Order, and the Undaunted. That is nice to see that very consistent brand rep being done, and hopefully done very right in this game. Gameplay, skill lines and classes. We've got skill lines for all kinds of things: acrobatics, bow, Daedric summoning, destruction staff, heavy armor, one-handed shield, restoring light, shadow, speech, two-handed, And we have the classes of Acrobat, Archer, Dragon Knight, Healer, Necromancer, Nightblade, Scout, Sorcerer, Templar, and Warden. I'm familiar with 5 of these because 5 of them, 6 I think now, or maybe 7? I can't remember, are in ESO or Elder Scrolls Online. When you successfully complete an encounter, you'll gain experience points, and this contributes to your character building. You'll tick up your XP counter. This keeps battles challenging even as your character's power increases, and then you'll go about spending your hard-earned points. XP can be used to buy new skills, increase your stats, improve your cooldown, or upgrade your class abilities. Players have nearly limitless control of their character's customization. The one thing they'll have to stay aware of is the size of their character mat. The push and pull of skills and stats vying for the same slots, and the variable XP cost as you invest more into a given line, are part of the puzzle of creating the ultimate fighting machine. With the Valenwood expansion and future regions down the line, you can add even more classes and skills into the mix, which means you never have to play the same character twice, unless you want to, of course. It goes on to explain combat, the first battle system being the Clash, which takes place on the game's large Clash mat, the second battle system being the Delve, and the final battle system, which is the Dungeon. Now, just to explain the difference between a delve and a dungeon using some really off-the-wall HeroQuest terminology and examples, let's say you and 3 of your friends are playing HeroQuest, you're in a public space, you're taking your turns, you're having a fine time, all of the enemies are on the board, the end game treasure is in sight, and then suddenly a 5th player comes up, says they want to join without your consent, puts their player on the starting space, takes a turn for every turn your players take, moves their character, grabs the reward, says all right, writes it down on their character sheet, takes their character, and leaves. They step away from the table. You and your 3 friends are still there at the table. Now, you might think that this is a problem because they came in, they did help defeat maybe some enemies, maybe they picked and choose, but they were still able to knock out a goblin or 2, but then they took the treasure and they left? Well, in the Elder Scrolls Online, this is not a problem at all. You can have just 1 player enter a delve. It's a very public thing, so anybody else who's playing can also enter that delve. You might have 20 people in there, and they're all attacking enemies, and the path from the very beginning to the very end where the treasure is or the boss is clear, and all you have to do is run through and then fight or grab. The treasure in this case is actually instanced to you while the dungeon is not, which means all of the players get to go through at their own pace if there are multiple players and get the treasure at the end. This is in stark contrast to dungeons where the dungeon accepts a limited party of 1 to 4 people who can go in, have to share enemies, and have to share the rewards and the challenge. So I'm not sure how the board game is going to handle delves necessarily versus dungeons, but it is really interesting to think about the delves being accessible. Perhaps the delves are randomly generated while the dungeons are predefined. This might answer some of the questions that I have at the end here. Campaign play. If you successfully complete your quest, congratulations, you've won the session, but your adventure isn't over. You'll gain a unique quest-specific keyword along with a list of other story-linked quests you can navigate to for your next quest. Between sessions, you'll save your keywords and your character builds in our built-in storage solution, allowing you to progress your adventurer throughout multiple plays. Completing your second session quest will queue the endgame in your current region. When setting up your endgame, you'll refer to your keywords to determine your unique setup, allowing each campaign climax to be shaped by the unique decisions you've made throughout your story. If you achieve the endgame objective, you've won the campaign and saved Tamriel from a dark future, for now. So it does seem to me like characters don't transfer between campaigns, but the session, which I think takes place over the 12 days, is a long campaign in and of itself and spanning 3 different sections. That's really cool. That is really cool how they did that, how it seems they have done that. There are 30 unique mainline multi-step quests in the core box and more to be unlocked in stretch goals, which were unlocked. The game also has 85 encounters, 50 bag drawn and quest enemies, and 15 side quests. And of course, the Valenwood expansion is one of these expansions that is included with this at this point for free and will be included in the shipping, which is free, and everything else. Free, accessible, I love it. We do have several more videos at the bottom of the page, one of which is a demo. We have a part 1 of that. We have launch day gameplay, which is teaching, demo, and banter from Chip Theory. Also from Chip Theory, From Zero to Hero, building your character, and first impressions. Then we've got videos from Man vs. Meeple and the Dice Tower West. Plenty more to see, so that's something to check out. This might be really important as well. It looks like there are 2 separate taxes related to shipping on your games. The first is customs duty. Custom duty is levied by all governments upon product entry into a given country. In countries where we are customs friendly, shipping from a distributor within that region, these charges are paid by us on import to our distribution partners, and we do not pass them on to you. The second is sales tax and VAT. This tax varies from region to region, and we are required to collect these taxes in accordance with each country's laws and in each U.S. state based on state laws. These taxes will be collected in the pledge manager period of the campaign. So it looks like if you're interested in this and you're not sure what the taxes, the sales tax, the VAT, all of that's going to be, you can actually find out by attempting to complete your pledge through the pledge manager. Finally, let's just check out the tiers. We've got the base game pledge, which is $195 USD. And for those of you that live in the US, that should be the end cost, the done price. This comes with the Thieves' Trove expansion and all unlocked base game stretch goals, as well as the base game. The gameplay bundle is the one that I'm most interested in because it comes with the Valenwood expansion, as well as the Thieves' Trove expansion and unlocked stretch goals. If you've got $400 USD, you can go for the all-in bundle, which includes the base game, stretch goals, the 2 expansions, the art and lore book, the playmat, the dice tray, weighted health chips, the blacksmith pack, and the upgraded chip bags. If you're not into the all-in pledge, you can just get these things separately. The base game is here. The Valenwood expansion is $45 USD. The art and lore book, $45 USD. And it looks to be a pretty thick, chunky, interesting book. That might be a really, really cool book to have. Deluxe drawbacks, premium battle mat. I don't think that's necessary for me. The premium dice tray, also something I can pass on. And the premium health chips. It doesn't look like we can get the blacksmith pack through add-ons though. Images of things that are already unlocked if you needed some specifics on what that component might look like or consist of. And that's pretty much the page for the Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era. So with that all being done, this is a stable pledge program project, and Chip Theory Games has quite a few games under their belt already. So if you were interested in them, they've got Tanglewoods, Rolth, Aplomachus's Pandora's Box expansions, Solar Sentinels, Too Many Bones, Unbreakable, Burn Cycle. I'm going to say the Elder Scrolls is by a large margin the one that has been backed the most. It reached its goal apparently in 2 minutes, and it raised $4.6 million. Kind of a big deal. That's it for me, guys. Please let me know what you thought about this video. Will you be backing / ordering rather this game? Will you be playing the Elder Scrolls Betrayal of the Second Era alongside myself, or will you be waiting for a sale, more information, more videos? Do you play the Elder Scrolls? Have you played Skyrim? Everybody's played Skyrim. That's a stupid question. Have you played Arena and Daggerfall? That's the real question for the OGs out there. I have not, because I'm not an OG. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, have a great rest of your day. And now onward, brave heroes.